Right, and welcome here to the class. We're doing a 30-minute mixture of kind of like some hatha intermingled with some floor hatha, kind of yin-esque. So you can start by just laying down on your back in Shavasana. And I'm going to switch my feed over to the yoga mat and I will join you. So just get comfortable on your back in Shavasana. Let your arms rest at your sides, let your legs rest out beneath you, and feel gravity pulling down. Showing up onto the yoga mat is something that can be challenging at times, and sometimes it feels really easy. I don't know for you, but for me, whenever I do show up on the yoga mat, once I'm there in the pose, giving myself a chance to breathe and feel that moment, feel that shape and that sensation in my body, I always have the reminder in my mind, in the back of my mind, like, this is worth it. This is totally worth my time and my effort to let my body go through these different stretches, to let the body relax in these different ways. We gain so much benefit in all the other types of activities that we do throughout the year if we do these yoga poses, because it just gives us the ability to go through the full range of motion of the joint. And then it gives us the ability to stretch and move through the different ranges of motion of all the different muscles that we have in our body. So let's take a deep breath in and feel the rib cage and the lungs expanding. And take a relaxed breath out through the nose or the mouth. Lift your knees up over top of your hips, lift your arms up over top of your shoulders, and just give a little shake, a little wiggle, wobble the ankles, the hands, the feet. And then grab the knees and draw them into the chest for a second. Take a deep breath in and expand the stomach into the thighs. And exhale, pulling in. All right, let go of the legs, put your feet on the floor and turn to your side. You're going to plant the palm down and push down, come up into tabletop position. And once you're in tabletop position, you're going to curl the toes under and then lift up the hips into downward facing dog. So pushing the palms down and lifting up through the hips. You can bend the knees a little bit and then keep that action through the hands. Inhale through the nostrils, filling up. And exhale, start to walk your feet towards your hands and slowly come up into a standing position. Let the arms stick forwards in front of you and squat the hips down and back into powerful pose. Legs feeling a little active, hips down and back. Reach the arms forwards and start to trace the breathing in and out through the nose. You could allow the feet to come wider. Sometimes that helps. And you could allow the hips to come back. Sometimes that helps too. Want to allow variation in the posture. Rise up, root the feet. Relax the arms, step the feet together and inhale, reach up. Exhale, dive down to the feet. Hands to shin bones, inhale, lengthen and lift the spine forwards. And exhale into downward facing dog. Step your feet back and lift your hips up. And once you're in downward facing dog, you're going to bend the knees just a little tiny bit. Sometimes I find that the bend through the knees helps the low back, so it's not so receiving of the pressure in the posture. Then we're going to allow some movement to happen through the legs in down dog. So I want you to kick your right leg up into the air and move it around a little bit. And draw a little circle with the leg. You can bend the knee. You can lift the hip and the groin up a little bit, kind of like a dog peeing on a fire hydrant or a tree or something. Let the hip come back down, put the foot on the floor, and try it on the opposite side. So the other leg lifts up into the sky. Free form motion, movement through the hip and the leg. Just allowing and exploring. And then coming back to downward facing dog again. All right, let's walk to the top of the mat. Tiptoe on up. Hands to shins, inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, walk the hands to the thighs and slowly come up to standing. Let's reach the arms up and inhale. Exhale, sweep the right arm underneath your left arm. Give yourself a bear hug or twist tie the arms. Bend both knees and take your right leg over your left leg and give a leg as a little squeeze to the center. And again, trace the breathing in and out through the nose. Explore what it's like to simply show up with your breathing today. Become really present with the inhale. Present with the exhale. And don't worry too much about the way that you're holding the posture, other than trying to make it feel generally comfortable. A little challenging, that will happen, but really focus on the breathing. Let's step out of the pose with the legs. Reach your arms up on your next inhalation and look up. Take the opposite arm under. Squat down and go ahead and lift the left leg over the right leg. We're just on the other side of our eagle pose. Squeezing the arms and squeezing the legs just to the kind of the center. And sometimes we can push forwards with the elbows and help stretch the upper back between the shoulders. Now, if that's not what you want to stretch, we can let the elbows down. And sometimes that will help stretch the top of the shoulders more. So we can try that too. And sometimes for me, it also moves top of the shoulders, outside edge of the upper back. So we can explore with the arms. Last breath in. And out, step the foot down. Reach your arms up, breathe in. Take your hands down to your hips. We're going to step back with our right leg. So go ahead and step that right leg all the way back into your runner's lunge. Lean your torso forwards ever so slightly to match the back leg's angle, and then swing your arms back so that they're next to the hips. Now we're trying to kind of hug in with the legs and lengthen up and forwards through the crown of the head. And then again, showing up for the breathing in every pose tonight. In this way, we're kind of trying to take it back to the basics today with that feeling of breathing. Reach up with the arms on your inhale. Pivot back with your right foot. Exhale, open up the arms and warrior two. Lunge the left knee over the left ankle. And keep pressing the feet down to the ground just to utilize a little bit of the leg muscles and return to awareness of breathing. Feeling a little stretch across the groin, maybe a little challenge across the leg muscles and the arm muscles, perhaps. If you want more stretch, lengthen the pose a bit deeper. And let's flow. Take an inhale. Exhale, windmill both hands down to frame the left foot at the top of the mat. Then you're going to step back with your left foot to plank position, lower down to chaturanga, knees if you like to, and then chest and belly down. Baby cobra or upward dog, lifting the heart up, and then back to tabletop, and then downward facing dog. Let's walk up to the top of the mat, all the way up. Hands to shins, breathe in. And then stand back up all the way. Hands to hips, step the left leg back. And we're in runner's lunge on the left side. Swing the arms back next to the hips. If you have a hard time staying connected with the feeling of breathing, you could do what I did years ago when I would have a hard time with that. I would really just try to focus on a counting of my breathing. So I would take a count in for 5 and take a count out for 5. Maybe a little less, maybe a little more, depending on where I was currently at in the practice. Just trying to time that breathing to give myself the awareness of its length, its potential length. Inhale, reach up. Pivot back, left foot, open up the arms, warrior 2, lunge the right knee over the right ankle. And return to breath awareness, focusing on the belly button movement. Firm up through the back leg. And use that action through the back leg to connect with the kind of the feeling in the hip. So I have to kind of press back through the heel, pull in through the back toe, and then I get this nice connection with the back leg hip. Take one more breath in. Breathe out and windmill both hands down to the floor. Step back to plank. From plank position, taking a full breath in through the nose. Exhale, lower down, chaturanga. Lower knees, chest, belly if you'd like. Baby cobra or upward dog, lifting the heart up, and then downward facing dog with your hips back up in the air. Let's walk up to the top. Hands to shins, inhale. And exhale, fold forwards. Let's dangle for a moment. And then slowly return back up to standing. From your standing position, go ahead and lift the right knee up to about the height of the hip. You're going to grab the knee with your palm, open the leg to the side. This will be our last standing sequence before we move down into some more relaxing poses. So right leg's out to the right side. We're going to look to the left. And then we're going to create tree pose from this standing hand to knee. So we can kind of already feel it, right? We're almost in tree pose. We just got to let that right leg come down to connect with the inside edge of the left. So the right foot is now on the inside edge of the left leg. Bring your hands together in front of your chest. Push together. Even more so, push together the legs. Can you feel how that's kind of the bum muscle that does that? Definitely do. So working the glute to stand up tall. Let's move forwards with the knee, lower down the foot. Lift the left knee up in front of the hip. Grab the knee, open it to the side. Reach to the right side and look to the right side. Stand up tall. Look back forwards, bring your right hand to your hip and your left foot to your inner right leg anywhere. And push those two areas in contact together, the foot and the leg. Push your palms together in front of your heart and stand just a tidbit taller by pushing down into the floor and using your right butt, the right side of your butt. I don't know, do you have a right butt and a left butt? I don't know. Maybe. Let's move the knee forwards with a breath in. Exhale, lower the foot down and relax the arms. Awesome, nice work. Let's move down into some restful postures. The first one that we're going to do is child's pose. So for child's pose, just come down to tabletop position. And then you're going to let your hips rest back towards your heels. And the arms are going to come forwards. Now we're going to try walking the arms from side to side. So what we're going to do is just kind of take the arms over to the right hand side first. Exploring what that feels like. Feeling that stretch on the left hand side. And let's take the arms over to the left hand side. And feel that stretch on the right hand side of the torso. So this is kind of like crescent moon. Nice and relaxing, and we get a bit of a stretch going into the groin. One more breath in and out the nose. And then start to walk back to the center with the arms. Once you're there, you're going to just walk your way back up into a seated position. We're going to do a little neck stretch. So you're going to come up into a seated position on a bolster if you have one. If you don't have a bolster, that's no problem. Just sit somewhere comfortably. You can sit cross-legged or on your knees. You can mimic the position that I'm in, just sitting on your knees as well. Let's reach out with the right arm to the right side. Take the left hand to the head. On top of the head, essentially, we're going to tilt the head to the left-hand side. And then find and look for stretches along the right-hand side, kind of from the ear down to the shoulder. We're just exploring. How much you tuck your chin can change it. Can also be good to not tuck it so much and see what it feels like in those situations. For me, I really do kind of like the tucking of the chin sensation. It moves that stretch a bit deeper. And we can even reach to the right side with the arm a little more or into the air. My preference is definitely on the floor with the fingers. And let's let the head go back to the center. Releasing. Awesome. Let's try that same stretch on the other side. Left arm reaches left. Right hand goes on top of head. And we're going to tilt the head to the right hand side and maybe tuck the chin to the armpit a little tiny bit, but up to you how much. Sometimes we can just do that first bit. Oh yeah, that feels good on this side. Maybe tuck the chin later. Maybe going for that chin tuck if you haven't done it yet. And seeing if that changes where the stretch is moving along the left-hand side of that neck. And then releasing back to the center and letting the arms relax. Next thing we're going to do is a pose called Crocodile. So for this one, we're going to have to lay down on the stomach. So just move the bolsters out of the way. And if you do want to use them, they would kind of go here in front of the chest if you have something. You're then going to come down onto the stomach. And once you're down on the stomach, you're going to rest your forearms on the yoga mat or on top of the bolster. If you want to go a little higher, then you let your forehead rest down on top of the forearms. So it's kind of like baby cobra, but we're in a very supported position, either up on the bolster or not. I'm going to have to take my microphone off to actually get comfortable into this pose. So the purpose is to kind of try to create a gentle compression or back bending sensation as we breathe and kind of try to relax the front of the body and receive that compression on the back of the body. And let's release from this position, either letting yourself down from there. Now we're pushing right back up into tabletop position. All right, from your tabletop, you're gonna let your legs go to the side and then in front of you. And sit down on your bum, lay down on your back, and take your bolsters, if you got them, or blocks, and bring them close to your side. So they're kind of next to you. We're going to do supported bridge pose. So lift up the hips, take a bolster or a block and slide it underneath of the hips. And feel free to lift up on a secondary bolster or block if that's your preference. From here, we're looking to stretch out kind of the front of the hips and the stomach. I'm going to go ahead and lift onto one more bolster. Good. Walk the legs out longer beneath you. And we'll be in this posture for maybe about two minutes or so. And then we'll end with one more pose that requires some use of bolsters and props to make it the best it could be, but you don't have to actually use any bolsters or props at all. I feel a nice belly stretch here, abdomen stretch. Take 2 more big breaths in and out through the nose, really getting into the depths of the breathing. Notice how the sensation changes when you breathe in deep like that. And then you're going to come down just by walking the feet a little closer to the bolsters, lifting your hips and removing the props from beneath the hips. Awesome. We're going to then get those bolsters beneath the back, and I'll show you how to do that if you want to watch. So one of the bolsters is going to go here, and the next one is going to go on top of that one. I know you might not have two, but what we generally want is kind of like a mound shape, or kind of like a little hump shape. And we want the part at the bottom to be kind of angled down, flattened to the floor. This is why I really love buckwheat, because you can mold it and into the shape that you kind of want it to be for the pose. So we have this angle going up, and then we have a little cascade down. And our spine's going to be on here, and our head is going to be back there. So we're going to position there. We're going to scoot the bum up to the edge of that bolster. We're then going to lay back on the bolster, the spine, let the head come back onto the curved lower portion of the bolster. And then we're going to let the groin muscles open up a little bit. If you have one of these, a yoga strap, you could also use it by going around the knees. And then this is going to help support the posture so you don't feel too much stretch in the groin. Oh yeah. This is my new favorite pose, 100%. This is like, I don't know what it is about this pose. It's like, kind of checks off a bunch of boxes for me. It's like a little groin stretch, little arm stretch, little chest stretch, spinal support, a little back bending happening. Something about it just feels really nice when you have the right props for it. See if you can notice where the breath begins and ends. We're going to allow the legs to close up together. Remove the strap from the legs, extend the legs out into final Shavasana, final resting posture. You can also stay upright with the spine and let the Shavasana be remaining lifted, just like cobbler's pose was. Feel free to stay in this last posture for as long as you want to. Sometimes a little bit extra is really nice if you have the time and the peace and quiet and the space to do so. Allow yourself to kind of soak up this pose. Give your body a little thank you for getting through the experience, for showing up in your yoga mat, and for breathing. Again, stay here as long as you want. I hope you have an awesome night ahead of you. Take care, and I'll see you soon.